What is up, everybody? My name is Danny Ferrari.
My name is Parker Immense.
And we are Excellent Sound, and we are back with some banger video tutorial today, bro.
Oh, I'm so stoked.
We're talking about Subtronics and the chomp, the growl, the bass. What makes him so good at this specific sound, Parker? What would you say?
Is it the long hair?
It's not the long hair.
Is it the nugs of Nodge?
Probably the amount of marijuana that man smokes.
Is it his baggy eyes?
It's his baggy eyes. Did I just spit on you? Yeah, Subtronics is obviously at the top of his game right now.
He's the man. He's the man.
The guy's insane sound design, and he definitely has the loudest mixes in the game.
Yep.
So we went ahead and we broke down some of our favorite basses that he makes and made a sort of general tutorial for you guys to follow. If you follow these steps, you can kind of get that Subtronic sound that you're looking for and then make it your own. Obviously, that's what we try to encourage here.
Yeah, just make sure don't put a master on.
Just
never
don't
put
use
a
a master, just turn it up to red. Part of the reason why we're doing this is because we are so excited because we just dropped our first ever full Wook pack, baby.
Let's go.
And we called it Wooktronic. Has nothing to do with him at all.
Nope.
It's just the name of the pack, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an actual full pack. If you guys like Drops Only Wook Edition, you guys are going to absolutely love this pack. It's got a ton of awesome Serum presets in there. Serum 2, baby. And of course, samples.
Dude, we just Beyonce'd them again,
yeah,
bro.
Dude, and we went all in on this one, guys. The samples are so sick. The miscellaneous effects, it's like everything you need. We got like the funky Grizz stuff, like the bam bam AU5 dancing with the goatee on. Dude, it's sick.
Yeah,
bro.
imagine Drops Only Wook, but
Yes.
with tons of loops, tons of samples, drums. It's a full-on pack, you guys.
And it's the stuff that you like look for. You know, like those those specific sounds. You're like, I need like a weird sound. It's got a bunch of weird, fun sounds.
It's
like
got
that.
every Wook species there is, dude.
We got a bunch of Wook content coming into the later days here and the later weeks, so don't worry, we got a lot of tutorials going on, but this is just the first one. I'm super excited to jump into this one. Let's talk about the chomp itself, but if you guys want to just grab this preset right now that we got, it's available for free in the download description. If you want to check out that brand new Wook pack that we just dropped, that link is also in the description. If you're here during the Black Friday weekend sale, then it's on sale right now, so take advantage of that if you can. But let's talk about what we mean by like a chomp or a growl. I call them chomps.
I feel like we coined the chomp.
Yeah.
You know, there was womps.
Yeah, there's
but
womps
not
and
really
chomps.
a chomp.
Yeah, so when we talk about chomps and like Subtronics, like this is what we're talking about, the main feel. We wrote this quick little drop for you guys, just a little. These are tons of chomps in here, right? Like this is this pig chomp. We're going to be teaching you guys how to make that. It's just very thick and chunk, right? There's also like some FM chomps. I'll open up those presets so you can kind of look at them. But we're going to be talking about mainly like this. And I feel like if you follow these like sort of ideas, you'll be able to make something very similar. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to start with something really basic. So if you take Serum 2 and you start with something like a sawtooth wave and just sort of get it set up at like -2, that's the first thing you want to do. And we're going to be using some PD or FM, whatever you want to say. But there's a specific trick that you'll hear, which I'll show you when it comes to using the FM. So we're going to start with a sawtooth wave. A lot of his stuff, if you've heard it, it's like has like a little hair. So sometimes like the FM or the PD or a saw, like
a lot of harmonics.
A lot of harmonics right on the top end, but also really chunky. So the first thing you want to do is just start with like a basic shape, start with a sawtooth wave. There's plenty of other, I'm sure, wavetables out there that probably could just cycle through, but you want to be able to make this shit on your own. And those are also hard to find. I'm kind of too lazy to cycle through a bunch of fucking wavetables.
But also, these are like way cleaner.
They
When you
are.
start from
They
a
always
basic
end up
shape,
cleaner.
they always come out so much cleaner with all the post-processing.
Go ahead and set it to a sawtooth wave. Let's just hear what it sounds like. Just pretty basic, right? The next main thing is that you'll see this main sort of LFO shape. We've talked about this shape before. Basically what these sounds are is they're basically old dubstep sounds that are modernized, right? They're old like womps that are modernized with a bunch of texture.
That's a good way of putting it, dude.
And a classic shape from Massive was the bending shape, which was essentially like this. This was like the bending shape, right?
The shark fin.
Yeah, it's like the shark fin. It looks like this if you looked at it in massive. But for now, like I'll do this shape sometimes, or even like this, just like your classic shark tooth, like Parker was saying. But I really like for chomps, I really like doing this shape quite a bit, which is kind of like a variation of that. A slower attack, but a lot of like sort of sustain up top, and then a release, right?
It also grooves really nice on the drums just because of that really slow attack.
Yeah, it's like its own little swing in there, right? So that's like a really cool thing to mess with. When you go ahead and do that, let's go ahead and let's bring in some oscillators, and let's go ahead and use like a basic shape for this. We're going to use a sine wave. You could try some other ones, which we'll cycle through. But here's the thing. So normally when we're doing like hybrid trap or we're doing all these other things, we're always like, okay, let's FM from B, and we're like putting this thing up because we want all those crazy harmonics. In this case, you actually want to put it down, right? Like to like -1. So let's go ahead and hear what that sounds like if I bring up this PD. If I even go down lower and even lower, which is kind of like a crazier thing, you hear that squiddiness.
It's getting
you hear that
wooky, dude.
That's that Wookie sound. It's lower octave FM. That's a secret right there. That's a nug. If you smoke that shit on the daily like we do, make sure you pack up that little nug right there. If you want to get that bubbly sort of Wook sound, take a simple carrier wave and FM it into a basic shape, but make sure your carrier is a low octave. Smoke that up. Put that on YouTube. Put that on Instagram. That's a clip and a half.
Dude,
right?
you just blacked out right now, dude.
You get that. You get that bubbly sound.
Yeah,
see how it's like the same, but normally we're going like all the way up. You know, we're going up like halfway on the PD. And we're getting that. That's like the, this is also used
classic.
A lot in Wook too. That's very classic in like UKG. You know, right around there. But for this one, we're going to go to -1. Now, here's the thing that also happened, right? So in Massive, you had a phase oscillator. And that's kind of what this is. But what you can do to get a little bit more, let's go halfway with the PD. Make sure the level is down. And let's go ahead and initiate the sub because we're going to need some low end. Now, here's where shit gets kind of fun, is we're going to go ahead and turn up the volume of the sub. I'm going to use a triangle wave. You can use whatever you want. Just use like a basic like sine or triangle. You can use parabolic too. And then what you want to do is you want to actually PD from the sub, right? So I'm going to PD from here. So I'm going to go from a lower sine into this, just like I kind of showed you, that lower sort of sine. And it's going to kind of help make a little bit more bubbly sounds. Watch. Now I have the higher bubbly sounds.
It's almost like a PD inception,
yeah,
dude.
it's a PD-ception.
PD-ception.
So you can get some kind of cool stuff that way, you know. If you want to keep your sub, you can use a different oscillator and maybe go PD from C if you wanted to. You could get crazy bubbly. You can kind of hear, that's like a lot of Wook stuff right there alone. But we're not doing that specific sound. We're doing the chomp, right? I want a little bit of bubbles, not too much. Also, back in Massive days, like we weren't like putting a lot of LFOs or envelopes on the actual level or amp. So I feel like a lot of these sounds don't have a lot of envelopes on the actual level itself. So I might put a little bit. This is the next biggest thing. So pay attention to this low pass filter. To get that chomp, to get that womp, we want to add a nice low pass filter. Now I turned the mix down, but I'll turn it up for you guys. I'm going to use an MG low 6 because I want a lot of high end in there. And what I want to do is I want to keep the cutoff around the middle, and I want to put this LFO around halfway, right? That womp, womp. With that resonance, you get that wah and a little bit of drive. Get some distortion. You could dial back the mix if you want some more high end, which we might do later. But right now, let's just leave it full so you can hear that chomp. That's already kind of a cool sound, just as is, right? Also mono and a little bit of portamento sometimes, so you can kind of do those. Now I'm Grizz. Like, I'm literally Grizz.
Now
right
you're
there.
melodic Wook, dude.
Now I'm Melod's Wooks. Okay, now that that's looking good, we can add a little bit of noise for texture. I'm going to add the LFO to the noise as well, because there's a lot of texture in these sounds. Make sure A, B, and C, even though C is off, is going to it, because it feels great. I got my sub control right here. My sub right now currently is going to a bus. I recommend just doing dedicated sub, but you can do a lot more with Serum 2, thankfully. But if you go ahead and you take your sub and you set it to like a bus 2, go into the mix knob, make sure bus is going direct out, and then you can have a little bit of processing on your bus, which is what I do for my sub. So I get a little bit louder, a little bit cleaner. All right, that's looking good. Let's get into the other parts of this sound. We also have a different sort of LFO shape. It's kind of similar on the sub. Sometimes that's kind of useful to have a little bit of like a longer subtail, or maybe you'll do more of a triangle shape. So you might want to alter it from this because sometimes you lose a little bit if you copy the same LFO. So sometimes I like to do a different LFO on my level knob.
Also a different groove for the sub,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. So especially if you're doing like if you're not doing a dedicated sub, you know, you might want to just have a little bit more control to sub. All right, that's sounding good. Now let's jump into the effects. I don't have any processing on this, guys, so all we're doing is everything in Serum. This is the big thing. That piglet sound that you hear is the diffuser. Now, the diffuser in Serum is a little bit hard to work. I'm going to show you the sweet spot, okay? So follow this and start from here, and you'll get a good result every time for that, like, sort of diffused pinch sound that you're looking for. So here's what you want to do is stages, like, pretty much all the way up, and then the cutoff and resonance. You kind of want it to look like that. And you'll start to hear it around here. So it gets kind of spread out a bit.
It's usually around the mids.
Yeah. Sometimes adding the drive to it, it's really aggressive drive. It stages all the way up usually. There it is. It sounds kind of piglet-y. And it's just more just dial in the cutoff where you want and maybe more resonance, but not too much. You can get crazy with like automating this, but it kind of changes the pitch because these are crazy like harmonic peaks. All right, that sounds good. Let's add some distortion for some texture. I like asym a lot. Probably need to dial this in now with the distortion. Let's add some OTT. Now, okay, quick little nug of Nodge for you guys. Cue the music again. This is Wook season, bro.
Oh, we're getting percolated, dude.
Fucking snapped in these bowls,
we're getting
bro.
percolated.
Okay, so if you didn't know this, right? Serum 2 does not come with the same stock OTT as Serum 1 did. Now, I'm going to show you how to get the old Serum OTT back because the Serum OTT in Serum 2 has changed, okay?
Your eyes are pretty wide for this nug,
This is
dude.
serious,
It's
bro.
a wide nug.
If you bring in a compressor, and you take the compressor and you set it to multiband like this, like so, right? What's going to happen? It's going to look like this. This is not stock. That's not what we're used to hearing, right? I noticed it. This is all stock. The difference is that Serum 2 has these new controls over here. We used to be able to pull this stuff up, and you could still kind of do it in Serum 2. But the correct actual stock of the old one is 4.9 here. So 4.9 on the high and 4.9 on the low. Make sure you guys do that. And then what you can do is you can actually, what I did is I went ahead and I saved this effects preset as like Serum 1 OTT stock.
Yeah, dude, that's
good
smart.
nug if you
love
want
that
that.
nug.
And then, like, you know, we normally just do that. So I definitely recommend doing that because I hate the way that this sounds without it. You got to dial it in more. And I kind of want to use my old sort of way. So just a cool little trick there. So we got a little bit of OTT going. That's sounding good, nice and fat. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of high pass filter to get some movement to it. I'm just going to use an EQ to do this. A little bit of shelf on the top end, and I'm going to apply our main sort of LFO onto this frequency knob. Find the sweet spot. Nice. And then here's, oh wait, I forgot to turn it on. There we go. Might have to dial the sub back a bit. Now you're hearing it start to sound a little piggly wiggly because that resonance peak is helping quite a bit. Another diffuser again. Let's add another diffuser again. Sweet spot it like so.
I wish they could have just called it a disperser.
It is a disperser.
You know?
It's what it is.
There might have been like a copyright or something.
Yeah, match these settings. That'll be pretty good. And you could dial it how you want from here. All right, that's sounding good. Now I'm going to add another low pass filter to get that chomp back, right? Let's bring back a low pass 6 and again, kind of copy what I did here. Sometimes you have to sort of do this twice because we're adding a bunch of distortion and different color and characteristics to it, right? So I went ahead and added another MG low 6. Nice. Now, if I'm wanting to bring back some of that top end, I can do that now by dialing out this mix. It's pretty simple so far, right? And then I'm going to show you what happens at the end with the magic. Okay, and then lastly, I got ahead and did a little bit of a high pass, and I have a little bit of pushing up on the highs because Subtronics loves his texture. I might dial in this top diffuser a bit more. Let's see. You can hear the sound really change. Find it where it sounds the best. Nice, that's sounding pretty good to me. Now let's hear what it sounds like in context with this track so far. We went ahead and layered it with something which I'm going to show you guys, and I'm going to show you the kind of the other chomp, and then we'll wrap up the video. Nice. Now, of course, we want to make sure that sub is really coming through, so you want to add.
That's
Nice
so
and chunky.
Subtronics-y, dude.
Here's the original one I made. This one's also in the actual download. Nice and chunky, wonky, right? The other thing, too, is that there's other chomps that we like to call. I'm going to give you a quick little preview of the, for staying with us for so long, I'm going to give you a quick little preview of what's to come in the pack. But there's other chomps. These are like kind of like the FM chomps, right? These ones are a little bit more hairy. Oh, I love these, though. But you'll notice they have a lot of the same sort of shapes like we talked about. Oh, dude, we went in on these. Dude, you can customize these presets.
Yeah, look at the macros.
It's so sick. You can change the shapes. Holy shit, knob. The way this one is doing is essentially we're going with the higher octave, and we're using more saw waves. And then also we're using semitones. I know you can't see it, but we have this semitone setup. And it sounds so good on top of that
Great for
picks.
alterations.
And look, there's nothing really going on with the effects, right? It's just a little bit of distortion. This is kind of still doing that low pass thing, except we're doing it a different way. We're just shelving it. It's such a simple sound, and this sounds so fucking good on top of this. Woohoo! And that's like not even really mixed or EQ'd. And then, of course, you get chomps like these. Oh, these are so. There's like a pig chomp, which is kind of what we made. Oh, so many. And then, dude, some of my favorite ones, too. We have, like, the really clean, like, kind of UKG ones. You can see here we got some donks. We got some FM wubs. We're still kind of dialing in some of these. When this comes out, this will be, obviously, like, the final version of it. But really, really went in the most we've ever done on this presets before. Some of these womps are really, really cool, man.
Show them some womps, baby.
The rhythmy. So good. And obviously we got the names, the best names in the game. This one I gotta finish. It says, "Finish me, Danny." We got a cool series we're gonna probably do, which is the dumbest basses in EDM.
It's gonna go off.
There we go.
It's gonna go off.
Very chomp-like, but a little bit more wompy.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, you guys get the picture.
That'll get the Wooks moving, dude.
That's right.
You know?
If you guys like that, and of course, all these sounds, like even these, like this is just a drum loop from the pack. Like this thing sounds, dude, the drop claps are so sick. Listen. You know, like those big Subtronics?
Yeah,
we fucking
dude.
nailed them. And obviously, there's like some cool single one-shots and stuff, too. But all that stuff is in the pack. Link is in the description if you guys want to go grab your copy right now. If it's Black Friday season for you and it's before Cyber Monday, you definitely get it on sale. If you're watching this afterwards, I'm sorry, but trust me, it's still a great value.
Yeah, go in the description. Go to the Black Friday link. There's so many crazy specials we got going on. We're going all out this year. We try
That's
to
right.
top every year with
Yeah.
the craziest sales and giveaways and stuff. So hit that link, and we'll see you in Black Friday.
Thanks, guys, so much. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share it to your friends. Let us know what you guys think, and let us know if you want to see some more Wooktronic type of material.
Yeah, dude. Let's get it.
We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.